folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is a beautiful spring day here in central Oklahoma, March 25th. It's about 60 degrees right now, a real light wind. You can see the wild plums are blooming and you can smell those things clear across the property. You just got to be downwind. Smells kind of like bubble gum to me. But I was driving down here in the old Cub Cadet bee tractor and checking this tree out, and let me show you something in there that I noticed as I pulled up. Man, isn't that pretty? Yeah, so looky back there. Looky. Look at there. Little swarm. So yeah, I was planning on videoing something different, and that's nice and handy there. So I'm gonna see if I can get that captured and get it set, and that's one less split I'll have to do. Bees are all up in this, working that thing good. As you can see, the red buds are starting to bloom. Just coming out, some more than others. But the ones that are opening up, the bees are working those red buds too. So it's a heavy forage day here on the bee farm. All right, let's get started on this little thing here. It's not too little, it's not too big. I'd say it's just right. Okay, here's the plan. Got me a little cardboard nuke here. Put 4 frames in it. I've got 2, this is some old brood comb, and 2 blank freshly waxed. So I'm going to shake them down in here, and then I got this little pedestal thing that I'm going to set that box on, and I'll let them sit there for however long it takes them to come down off of that limb, because when you shake them, there's always going to be some go back, and the key is to get that queen in the box. So another thing I have is some sugar water here with some Pro Health mixed in it. I'm going to coat these frames with this, and I'm also going to spray some up there on the swarm, because when bees are wet, they won't fly, and I want to keep the bees out of the air as much as possible. One thing about swarms is they'll start building wax pretty quick, so this will entice them to take to these frames that just have wax coating on them. Get them going. All right, I'm going to spray just a little bit on this swarm up here. They'll also start cleaning themselves. Instead of being interested in flying, they'll just be cleaning on themselves once they get into the box. I prefer to, if I can, cut the whole limb and put the limb in the box, but that's not really possible here. I could have brought some loppers though and cleaned these little twig branches out of my way. In fact, I think I will go do that, because that'll make it a lot easier. Just happen to have these on my four-wheeler, just for this type of emergency. Nothing worse than these little twigs getting in your face with this veil on. Also, you want to be careful not to shake this limb too much, because they could all just fall off. Fortunately, there's not a lot of wind today, which is odd for Oklahoma in the spring. I'm going to take this little limb off right here. that goes through them. Some tricks to get your box up as underneath it as much as you can. So I'm gonna take these blank frames out and just set them here on the side. Have them on the ready. And I'm gonna take these two drawn frames, scoot them to the outside. That way that swarm can hang right down in between those. And give them something to crawl up on. Once I get them down in there, I'll start moving those frames together and put these blank ones in there. All right, let's see if we can get this done. Just making room for this lid to swing over there. I like these cardboard nukes for doing this because you don't have to worry about keeping the bottom and all that. And you don't have to shake the swarm on the ground. You can just lift it up to them. Now I'm hitting something over here. Well, it's just gonna have to hit. There we go. There you can see bees down in there. There'll always be a few stragglers up here. So the intent is they'll figure out the queen's down here and move down here, unless the queen is up there. And I got my queen clip, so I'm gonna do some searching up here. I'll spray on these a little bit more, just prevent flying. It looks like I can move these frames right up together now. Man, it's really hard to see up there with that backlight from the sun and the clouds. Something I could do is get my bee vac and work on that. I'm gonna go with this for a while, see how it works out. So I've got a piece of tape here to put over this entrance when I'm done to lock them in. These come with some plastic plugs. I couldn't locate them right off, so I just grabbed some duct tape. So we'll give them a while to settle and get these other two frames in here. There we go. So those bees up there ought to start working their way back down here, if the queen is down here. So we'll wait a while and see what happens. If the bulk of them start going up there, we know we didn't get a queen in our box. So. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and I shook this limb up here and I looked for a queen. I didn't see one. And I pulled out one of the drawn out comb and I found a virgin queen in there. So she's right there in the middle, right at the bottom now. Oops, you got to see it. She's at the bottom right there. So that's a unmated virgin queen. So this swarm isn't from one of our mated queens that swarm. This is like what you call a cast swarm, I believe, from a virgin queen. So I'm gonna pull this second frame that's drawn, see if I find a queen on it. And boy, I tell you what, finding a virgin queen in a big mass of bees like this is pretty difficult. because they're not very big. And you can have multiple queens. That's why I'm looking here for another one. Sometimes there may be 3, 4, 5 queens in a swarm. But this one not being that big, I wouldn't expect to find that many. Not seeing anything. So with that queen there, if that's our only one, we'll just keep her here in this clip, and these other bees should migrate on down then, if she's the only one. Get these frames moved a little closer together. All right, so I'm gonna give this a shake now. Since I know my queens, I got a queen in the box, I'm gonna give them some smoke up here. Persuade them to leave. Went and grabbed me a bee brush. I don't use these hardly ever. Well, actually, there's very few bees up here now. Very few. In fact, they're done, they're gone. They're all working their way down to the box. Bad thing about these nuke boxes, they'll have like a screened ventilation hole, and bees can't come and go, so they just kind of pile up. Still have our queen. Not really enough to scoop. I'm gonna turn this box around because they seem to be going to that side, and entrance hole's right here, so maybe they'll help them out. So you've got all these bees on top here fanning. So they're up here fanning, spreading the pheromone from the hive out, so these bees that are flying know where to go. Our queen's here in this clip. Yeah, that's a nice little swarm. That's kind of like getting package bees, except we don't have a mated queen. She's going to have to go mate and successfully come back. And I haven't had a real good percentage rating on that the last couple of years. I think I'm in the high 30s, low 40% on good queens. And a lot of my queens, they don't seem like they're very productive. They're just not, they're not bred well or something. So it's going to be a tough year for me. I've lost a lot of hives due to weak hives. Not making it through winter. But I could go find, if I can find my hive that swarmed, there'll be some swarm cells in there. I maybe could make some more splits. No telling where this came from. Yeah, so I'm going to give this about an hour to rest, and there's bees flying around up there. They got to get oriented and figure out where to go. They'll come down here and they'll all go in this box. And once they get in there, I will lock this thing down. I'll duct tape that hole there shut, and I'll keep them locked down for, see, this is Saturday. I'll leave them all day Sunday, and then Monday evening I'll open it up, and hopefully they will stay. With that being a virgin queen, it's not good odds. I need to get what I can do is get a frame with some brood and put in there, and that'll hold them down. So that's something I need to do. And what I'm going to do after I get them locked in there, I'm going to move it over here to let's see, that's spot number 16 there, where there's that nuke sitting there. I'll move that nuke out of the way and just set it right there. And what I might do, when I open them up, I might just go ahead and transfer those frames into that nuc right there, and that'll be their home if they choose to stay.